Welcome to the Privacy Report. Today, we're digging into something. Well, something a lot of people take for granted. It's this idea, this sort of comforting belief that if you own a Mac, you're somehow magically immune to viruses and malware.
Yeah, that Macs don't get viruses.
Yeah.
Maris line has been around forever. It was great marketing, honestly. But the reality on the ground has shifted.
A lot, right? As Macs get more popular, they become bigger targets. Simple as that.
Exactly. The attackers go where the users are. So we really need to ask, beyond the reputation, what are the actual risks today?
Is that sleek machine really safe? Or is believing the old myth the biggest risk of all? That's what we're looking into. And before we really dive in, just a quick reminder, you can subscribe to our email newsletter for more insights like this over at theprivacyreport.net. Okay, so let's unpack this myth a bit. It didn't come from nowhere, right? There are actual reasons Macs were considered safer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It wasn't just marketing spin. A big part of it is the architecture. macOS is built on Unix.
And that Unix foundation, that matters.
Hugely. It gives you layers of security that, well, Windows didn't always have in the same way. Think about permissions. Everything's compartmentalized. Sandboxing is key here.
Sandboxing, like keeping apps in their own little boxes.
Pretty much. If one app tries to do something malicious, it's generally stuck in its box. You can't easily mess with the core system or other apps. It contains the potential damage.
And getting out of that box or changing really important system files, that required the user to actively say yes, right? Like typing in a password.
Exactly. You needed explicit user permission, usually that administrator password.
Yeah.
And that's a significant barrier for malware that wants to spread automatically.
Makes sense.
And, for decades, that barrier held up pretty well, partly because, frankly, attackers weren't focusing there. Windows had, 90% of the market? Maybe more.
Yeah, the vast majority.
So if you're writing malware, you go for the biggest pond. Targeting Macs just wasn't the best return on investment, especially given the tougher architecture.
But Apple didn't just rely on the Unix base. They added their own layers, didn't they? Things like Gatekeeper, XProtect, SIP.
Right, they built on top of that foundation. Gatekeeper is probably the first line of defense most users notice.
That's the thing that stops unsigned apps from running.
Yep. It checks if the app is from a registered Apple developer.
Yeah.
Then you have XProtect, which is Apple's own sort of basic anti-malware scanner. It looks for known threats.
And SIP. System integrity protection. That sounds important.
It is. It's deeper level. SIP locks down critical system files and folders, making them read-only. Even if malware somehow gets root access, it still can't easily tamper with the core OS.
So multiple layers. Pretty robust.
What's fascinating here is those robust defenses, especially SIP, have really forced attackers to change tactics.
How so?
Well, if you can't easily break the core operating system code, you find another way in.
You go after the user.
Precisely. Why spend huge resources trying to find some obscure kernel exploit when you can just trick the person sitting at the keyboard? The focus shifted from breaking the code to exploiting human psychology.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. Because if the system itself is pretty solid, but people are still getting infected, what are these infections? What are the common threats Macs face now?
By far, the most common things are adware and PUPs, potentially unwanted programs.
Okay, PUPs. Not necessarily viruses trying to wipe your drive, but still nasty.
Yeah, they're more like digital parasites. Their goal isn't usually destruction, it's annoyance and data collection. They'll hijack your browser, change your search engine, inject ads everywhere.
Ugh, the annoying pop-ups and redirects.
Exactly. And crucially, they collect browsing data. What sites you visit, what you search for, that data is valuable.
And how do these PUPs typically get onto a Mac? They don't just show up, right?
No. They almost always piggyback on other software. Usually free software you download from, let's say, less reputable websites.
Like a free video converter or a system cleaner?
Perfect examples. You download the free tool, click through the installer. Maybe you choose the quick install option.
Which conveniently bundles the PUP.
Right. It might be mentioned in the fine print or a pre-checked box you didn't notice. They rely on users just clicking next, next, finish, without really reading.
Okay, so that's adware and PUPs. Annoying, invasive, but maybe not catastrophic. What's the next step up in terms of danger?
That would be Trojans. These are different. They're designed to be malicious, either to steal data or cause damage, but they disguise themselves.
Like the Trojan horse. Looks like a gift, but...
Exactly. It might pretend to be a legitimate system update, a popular application, maybe even a fake antivirus program, ironically.
A fake antivirus? Wow, how do they convince people to install them?
Social engineering. pure and simple. They prey on fear or agency. A scary pop-up saying, your Mac is infected, scan now. Or an email claiming you need this critical update immediately.
So you panic, click download, run the installer.
And you've just willingly installed the malware, often even giving it your administrator password because you think you're fixing a problem. Once it's in, it can steal passwords, install keyloggers, open back doors, much more serious stuff.
Okay, Trojans rely on tricking you. What about spyware? The really sneaky stuff.
Spyware is all about stealth. Its goal is to monitor your activity without you knowing.
How does it manage that on macOS, which is supposed to be pretty locked down?
Well, the sophisticated spyware is designed to look like a legitimate background process. It avoids doing anything too obvious that might trigger alerts. It might log your keystrokes.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah, capture screenshots, track the websites you visit. And the really advanced stuff tries to grab credentials stored in your browser or even your iCloud keychain.
Which means they could access accounts way beyond just your local Mac data.
Exactly. If they compromise your iCloud account, they could potentially get access to photos, documents, backups, anything synced across your Apple devices. It becomes a much bigger privacy invasion.
And finding it is hard because it hides so well.
Very hard for the average user, yeah. It blends in.
Okay, that leads us to the really scary one, ransomware. We hear about it constantly on Windows, but does it actually hit Macs?
It's rare, definitely rarer than on Windows, but it absolutely happens. There have been notable examples like Caranger a few years back and EvilQuest more recently.
I remember Caranger. That sent a shockwave, didn't it? This feeling that, oh wait, Macs can get hit by this stuff.
It was a real wake-up call. The mechanism is the same regardless of OS. The ransomware encrypts your personal files, documents, photos, everything, making them unusable.
And then demands money to get them back.
Right. Usually cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or something similar. And how does it get in?
Yeah.
Again, usually through user interaction, malicious email attachments, infected installers from pirated software sites.
So again, tricking the user bypasses many of the built-in OS defenses.
Pretty much. If you authorize it, you authorize it.
You know, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it feels like a lot of modern attacks aren't even bothering with the OS that much anymore.
That's a great point. Many threats are now platform agnostic. Think about phishing attacks.
Like fake login pages for your bank or email.
Exactly. A well-crafted phishing page looks the same whether you're viewing it on a Mac, Windows PC, or even your phone.
Right.
The goal is to steal your credentials, not infect the device itself.
And browser vulnerabilities, malicious scripts on websites, those can hit anyone too.
Right. And this raises an important question, or maybe an implication. If an attacker steals your cloud account credentials through phishing.
They might not even need to touch your Mac directly.
Correct. Compromising your Google account, your Microsoft account, your iCloud account, that can sometimes be far more damaging than infecting a single laptop. They get access to potentially years of emails, documents, photos, contacts.
Wow. Okay, so the battleground isn't just the operating system anymore.
Not at all. It's the browser, it's the cloud, it's the user's inbox.
So this all sounds a bit worrying. We have these built-in defenses on the Mac, which are good, but the threats have evolved to get around them, often by targeting us, the users. What can people actually do to stay safe?
Well, the foundation is still crucial. You need to use those built-in defenses. But the most important thing, it sounds boring, but it's updates.
Keep macOS and your apps updated. Always.
Always. Non-negotiable. Apple finds security holes, they patch them. The moment that patch is out, attackers are analyzing it to figure out how to exploit the hole in unpatched systems.
So delaying updates is like leaving the door open after, the lock is broken.
Exactly. Even delaying by a few days can be risky for actively exploited vulnerabilities. Update promptly, system updates, app updates, browser updates, everything.
Okay, updates first. What else? We talked about adware and Trojans coming from sketchy downloads.
Right, source discipline is critical. Stick to the Mac App Store whenever possible.
And if it's not in the App Store?
Go directly to the official website of the developer, a trusted, known developer. Avoid third-party download sites, aggregators, and definitely avoid pirated software.
Because pirated software is often bundled with malware.
Almost guaranteed. It's one of the most common ways Trojans and other nasty stuff gets distributed. If you're not paying for it, you or your data are likely the product.
And keep those built-in defenses running. Gatekeeper, Xprotect, SIP. Don't turn them off.
Absolutely not. Leave them enabled. They provide essential layers of protection.
What about permissions? When an app asks for access to your microphone or camera or files?
Be incredibly skeptical. Scrutinize every permission request. Does this simple calculator app really need access to your entire hard drive?
Probably not.
Does that game need to monitor your keyboard input? No. If an app asks for permissions that seem excessive for its function, deny the permission. Or better yet, reconsider using the app at all. Ask yourself why it needs that access.
That makes sense. Question everything. But what if the worst happens? What if ransomware does get through? Is there a safety net?
Yes. And it's the absolute best defense against ransomware. Backups.
Good old backup.
Regular, reliable backups. Use Time Machine, Apple's built-in system. Get an external hard drive, encrypt it, and let Time Machine run automatically. Or use a trusted cloud backup service.
So if your files get encrypted by ransomware...
It's annoying, sure, but it's not a catastrophe.
Yeah.
You don't even consider paying the ransom. You wipe the infected Mac completely, reinstall macOS, and then restore your clean files from your backup.
The ransomware loses all its leverage.
Completely. Backups neutralize the primary threat of ransomware.
So it really comes back to the user, doesn't it? The system is strong, the defenses are there, but attackers are focusing on tricking people.
This raises an important question, really.
Yeah.
Or maybe just highlights the key point. How do you defend against being tricked?
Awareness, I guess. Critical thinking.
Exactly that. The easiest way to compromise even a well-secured Mac is still to fool the user. Phishing emails, fake warnings, tempting downloads. That human element is often the weakest link.
No amount of sophisticated code in macOS can stop someone from clicking a malicious link or entering their password on a fake site.
Precisely. Technology provides tools, but security ultimately depends on user vigilance and, frankly, a healthy dose of skepticism.
So the bottom line seems to be, Macs are well built, yes, they have strong security features. But that myth of total immunity is not just wrong, it's dangerous.
It is dangerous because it breeds complacency. It makes users let their guard down. Staying updated, being cautious about downloads and permissions, backing up your data, and being aware of phishing tactics, that's the real strategy.
The threats have adapted, so our mindset has to adapt too.
Right. The main battle isn't always happening at the kernel level anymore. It's often happening with clickbait, fake emails, and social engineering.
Remember, security isn't just a feature of your operating system, it's an ongoing practice. It's about behavior. If you found this discussion valuable today, please do take a moment to like and subscribe to the Privacy Report wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps others find the show.
And finally, just a note that this discussion was created with the assistance of AI. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next time.